put in your AirPods and just play whatever you want.
No, I'm cool with it.
All right, bud. So start in any position that you find comfortable. So if it's cross-legged, you could start in child's pose. You could start on your back, or half shavasana, which is feet on the ground, chest up. Those are all positions that you could start in just to find your breath. So when you're ready, you're going to shut down the eyes. You're going to connect to your breath. You're going to take an inhale for 3 seconds. You're going to hold it and exhale for 5. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to inhale again for 3. 1, 2, 3. Hold the breath. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold the breath. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you're going to do that on your own 3 more times. Inhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Hold. And on your last exhale, with intention, with patience, with grace, we are going to meet in tabletop. So take your time transitioning from whatever pose that you're in, and we're going to meet in a tabletop position. Shoulders under the wrists, knees in line with the hips, and your preference, whether you want your feet in the ground like you have, or tops of feet on the mat, both are fine. I prefer to have my feet digging the mat because I'm in skates a lot, so good to work on that ankle mobility. So take some time, get comfortable, and when you're ready, push your hips back to your heels to stretch out those toes. Inhale, exhale, shoulders over the wrists. Move your chest forward. Bring those shoulders over your wrists. Stay for a breath. Inhale, exhale, hips back to heels. Inhale, and on the exhale, we move forward again. Stay for the breath. Inhale, exhale, hips back to heels. And we're going to do that 2 more times on your own. Inhaling forward, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, hips to heels. So we're moving a little bit faster. Last one. Inhale, shoulders over your wrists. Exhale, hips back to heels. And with our hips back at our heels, we're going to prepare and get ready to move our torso, our core, our shoulders in the shape of a clock. So we're going to start at 6. We're going to move our hips, our shoulders to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, moving it to the left. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take a second if you need to before we start moving to the right. And on our inhale, we're going to move 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Nice, buddy. All right. And now we're going to do 2 more on your own to even out the sides, moving to the right. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 12. Last one. And before we get moving into our practice for the last of our wrist warm up, we're going to flip our forearms forward to face 12 o'clock. So our forearms are going to be facing that number 12. We're going to lean back into our heels, into that hip, and we're going to open up our forearms. And just have a lot of play here. There's no reason to be so forceful in the beginning of our practice. So if we need to move over the right wrist over the left wrist, go ahead and do so. Move it back. Whatever micro movements you need to get going this afternoon, this morning, wherever, whatever time it may be. And when you're ready, we're going to move those. We're going to stand up tall. Our hips are going to be over our heels, and we're just going to shake out our wrists before we get moving again. I always like starting with the wrist warm up. Otherwise, sometimes those planks and downward dogs could get really sticky and just kind of unenjoyable. So it's a good idea to start with a wrist warm up. It's something that has changed my yoga practice immensely. And let's come back to tabletop whenever you're ready. Taking our time. My name is Phil. You know that because we've been friends for 10 years, but it's always good to introduce people to their practice. So we're about to begin our practice now. We're going to start flowing a little bit more. And we're going to start that flow with some cat-cows. So we're going to inhale our chest forward. Head comes up. Exhale, we're going to try and move our nose to our belly button, extending the shoulder blades up to the ceiling, up to the sky. Inhale, chest opens up forward, hips come down, chest comes forward. Exhale, nose to belly button for cow. Do 2 more on your own. Exhale to cow. Inhale to cat. Exhale to cow. Excellent. Let's meet back in tabletop. If you need, while I explain our next pose, take any micro movements that you may need. We're going to be going into a bird dog for our core stabilization. When you're ready, we're going to place that left foot back on the mat. Extend our right arm. Feel the core activate. And when you're ready, if this is enough for you, I invite you to leave that left foot on the mat. If you want a little bit more, lift that left foot up, activate the glute, activate your core, keep that head facing down at the mat or gaze a little bit forward toward your right arm. Stay for the breath. Inhale, exhale, place both your knee and your hand back on the mat for tabletop. And now we're going to do the other side. Inhale, exhale, that right foot comes back. Left arm comes forward. And if this is enough for you, you stay there, but you bring it on up if you want some more. Take some nice deep breaths. Inhale, exhale, and on that next exhale, we're going to return everything back to the mat for tabletop. All right, time for one more. Inhale, exhale that left foot back to the mat. Extend that right arm forward. You've been here before, so you know what to do. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2. Inhale. And on our exhale, bring your elbow to knee and squeeze that core tight round the back. Exhale. And return everything back to the mat. Take a second. Notice how your left side feels in comparison to your right, or maybe there's not much of a difference right now. But just take notice, take an observation on where you are in your practice right now. And when you're ready, we're going to do that other side. Step the right foot back. Left arm comes up. Inhale up. Bird dog on the opposite side. Take 3 breaths. Inhaling. Exhaling. 2 more breaths on your own. And on that last exhale, we squeeze our elbow to knee. Before we return everything back to the mat. And again, I invite you to take any micro movements that you may need, any positions that you may need before we move on. I'm going to personally take a quick child's pose. Before we return to our practice. When you're ready, I invite you to meet me in tabletop. Only when you're ready to move on. From tabletop, we are going to extend our legs back and meet in a plank. Shoulders over the wrists, my hips in line, my core engaged. Tailbone is straight. Just for a second before we come to our first downward facing dog, move that hips up, extend your head in between your shoulders. Move each heel. Move each heel down to the mat, walking the dog. Take any movements that you feel necessary to wake up your body as we begin to move. Find stability in your down dog. Find strength. Find intention. What's your goal in this down dog? Is it to open up your hamstrings? To open up your shoulder blades? Is it just to be aware? Set your intention for this pose and for this practice. And with our first step, we're going to move our right foot forward our left foot forward till we walk up to our hands and meet in a forward fold. Feel free to place a block near your feet to create some support, some comfort. Have a heavy bend in your knees. It's our first forward fold, so there's no reason to overextend ourselves. Place your hands on your ankles, on your shins, and or your knees, or maybe even your thighs. We are going to rise to a flat back position. So just like tabletop, we extend our head, and we have a nice flat back to rest a glass. Stay for the breath. Inhale. And on our exhale, we return to a forward facing, forward fold. Inhale to standing, nice and slow. Heavy bend to the knees. Inhale those arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Step the right foot back, then the left to meet in plank. Half plank. So options here before we move on. We could be in plank, we could be in half plank, or a child's pose if we need. Before we move our hips up for our second downward facing dog. When you're ready, we're going to bring our feet back up to our hands, but with each step, I want you to lean back into that hip. So if I step my left foot forward, I lean back into my left hip, just ever so slightly. Right foot, lean back into the right hip till we come all the way to our hands, where we'll meet in a forward fold. Place your hands on your shins, your knees, or your thighs. Inhale to flat back. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale to rise. And exhale to forward fold. Step the left foot back, then the right for plank pose. If you're feeling strong today, maybe we want to do a chaturanga, which is just a push-up back to plank. But if not, we just stay here in plank to activate our core before we move back to downward facing dog. And for our last sun salutation, we could either do the same walk that we've been doing, or I invite you to try and jump your feet between your hands and land in that forward fold. Either way, it's your choice. And we've been here before, so take this flow on your own and we'll meet at standing. Last things I will say, we'll inhale to flat back, and you're on your own. Move those hands to your side. And we'll stay here for a moment in Tadasana, mountain's pose. Shut down the eyes and notice and take notice that the heat you're creating between your feet and your mat. Notice that energy you are creating just by standing here and being present. Bring that energy from your feet to your ankles to your knees. Maybe your glutes relax. Bring that heat from your knees to your hips, up the spine. When they get to their shoulders, raise your hands. Feel the energy come out your hands and release to forward fold. Nice. Place the hands, step or jump the feet back to plank just for a moment, and then we're back in downward facing dog. Great job. Excellent. So from this downward dog, we're going to move the left foot forward between our hands. Place the right knee down on the ground so we are in a low lunge. Our hands are going to come up to our thighs, onto that knee, or they could rise above our head. Inhale, exhale, that right arm comes forward for low lunge twist. Maybe that left hand comes back to touch your right heel. Maybe we're staying here. Maybe our hands are still straight up. This is your practice. Do what's best for you. But if you're taking this low lunge twist with me, we're going to inhale our hands back up over our head. Move that left foot forward if you have really tall legs like me. I'm going to grab a block, place it underneath my left knee, and then I'm going to move my hips back to my heels for half splits. So my left toes raise, my chest is falling, or trying to fall forward to my left knee. But I'm not forcing it. I invite you to windshield wipe your left foot to the left and right. Massage that hip crease. Open up those hamstrings. But if just staying in half splits is enough for you, go ahead and do that. Move forward back to low lunge. Plant the hands. Step that left foot back to meet the right. Return to down dog just for a moment of awareness. See how each side of your body feels. Inhale, exhale that right foot forward for low lunge on the right side. Hands come up overhead or on our knee, wherever you are in your practice. Stay for a couple of breaths, a couple of moments. Inhale that left arm forward. Exhale, right arm comes back for low lunge twist on the right side. Nice. Maybe that right arm comes to touch your left heel. Maybe the twist is enough. One more breath. Come back up to center. And now we're going to set up for half splits on the right side. So that right foot's going to walk forward again. I'm going to grab this block. And I'm going to lean back into my hip. Moving my right toe left and right. Very important not to lock out that right knee. Just a little bend will do you fine. And when you're ready, we're going to return to low lunge. Step it back to plank. And then to down dog. And now in down dog, we're going to lift the left leg up to the sky for three-legged dog. Bend the left knee. And we're going to try and have our pinky touch our right shoulder. Open stack the hips. And then on our exhale, left foot comes between our hands. And we are going to rise from warrior one straight into warrior two. I'm going to have to take a seat now for the rest of the practice so I could guide you through a little virtual journey. That right arm is going to extend. Each arm is going to extend. Our gaze is going to come over the right middle finger. Inhaling and exhaling. Your left arm is going to come to your left hip. Your left hand is going to come to your left hip. So Abe, I can't tell where you are because the camera may be flipped on your side, but the position we're looking for is this.
This is my right side.
Oh, that's your right side? Okay,
Yeah.
so you're right. Yes, your right side, yes. Okay, my bad. That's my fault, actually. I'm gonna flip the left arm forward. Inhale back for peaceful warrior. So we feel it in our right groin, our right hip, our left side body, feeling that stretch, feeling the air come through that left side body. And when our body had enough, our left elbow is going to come to our left knee for extended side angle. Right bicep comes to meet our right ear. When you're ready, return to warrior two. Straighten the left leg, leaving a little bend. Move your left arm forward and come down for triangle pose. Nice, beautiful. Inhale to warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down And we return to plank pose. If you're feeling strong, if you want to challenge, chaturanga. Back to plank. Back to down dog. When you're ready, inhale, right leg comes up. Open stack the hips on the right side. Inhale, exhale, right foot comes forward. A quick warrior 1 to warrior 2. The gaze is over my right foot, my right hand. Beautiful. Take a second, just notice. Left hand comes to left hip. Flip the right hand over. Lean back, peaceful warrior. When you're ready, extended side angle. Right elbow to right knee, left bicep over left ear. Feel the stretch in your left side body. Inhale back up to warrior 2. Right knee straightens, leaving a slight bend to the knee. Extend forward with the right arm and come down for triangle on the other side. Good place for a block if you need it. And we want to create openness in our chest, openness in that right hip. Inhaling, exhaling. And when you're ready, inhale to warrior 2. Exhale, cartwheel those hands back down. Come back to plank. To chaturanga. To plank. Don't go anywhere. We're going to do one more. Down. Up. And return to downward facing dog. If you choose, take a child's pose. If your body needs it. If your body needs a sip of water, go grab it. This is the time to do so. We're halfway through our practice. And
Hey Phil, you mind if I grab my laptop charger real quick?
Yeah, go for it. Good time to do so.
Hang on.
All right. Oh, you better not sit here. Okay. And before my dog takes the mat, we're going to come back to downward dog. Take your time getting there. And we're going to get moving. Inhale that left foot up. Exhale, knees to nose, knee to nose. Stay for the breath. Step that left foot between our hands. High lunge. Hands are overhead. And now if this is too much, we could always put that right knee down. Inhale. Exhale, that right arm comes forward. High lunge twist. Inhale. Exhale, left hand comes to meet the right heel. Stay for the breath. Exhale, right hand comes down to the mat. And now from this position, if you're on your knee, we're going to twist that knee, right knee, to face the camera. Extend the left leg back. And come up to side plank on the right hand. Just for a second. Exhale, left hand comes back down to plank. If you're feeling strong, take a chaturanga. I'm not this round, so I'm just going to come back to down dog as we prepare for the other side. Inhale, right leg comes up. Exhale, right knee to nose. Stay for the breath. Step that right foot between our hands. High lunge on the right foot. Inhale. Exhale, left hand reaches forward. Rotated. High lunge twist to the right. Inhale. Exhale, that right hand comes back to meet the left heel if it can. And when you're ready, we're going to meet with our left hand on the mat. Our chest is twisting to the right. And when you're ready, we are going to step it back to side plank on the left side. And return to plank. And back to down dog. When you're prepared to move, you're going to lift that left leg up for three-legged dog. Step it forward between our hands. Rise up to high lunge or low lunge, whatever your body needs. We're going to move from high lunge to warrior two with that left foot forward, looking over our left fingertip. When you're ready to move, we're going to go into Skandasana on the right side. So we're going to shift our weight from our left foot to our right. Stay, see what it feels like in that hip. Move to your left briefly, back to your right, back to warrior two. Cartwheel the hands down. for plank to chaturanga if we choose, to up dog, back to down dog. Inhale, right foot comes up. Exhale, right foot between our hands. High lunge on the right. We've been here before. From high lunge, warrior two. Stay, notice, be aware. Inhale, exhale. Bend into that left hip for Skandasana or lateral lunge on the left side. Shift that weight from left to right, back to left, back to warrior two. Cartwheel those hands down, and we're gonna meet in plank. To down dog. Good opportunity for a chaturanga if you wish. Also a good opportunity for child's pose or hands on your, hands on your thighs. And when you're ready, we're gonna meet in downward facing dog. Three-quarters into our practice, notice how you feel. Notice your breath. Have you gotten warmer? Have you gotten colder? From down dog, we're gonna move to plank. And whether you're in half plank or full plank, we're gonna take a 10-second chaturanga down. So slowly count and lower your chest all the way to the mat for our last push of class. Very nice. From here, the tops of the feet are gonna come and touch the mat. And we are gonna push up into our hands for baby cobra. Feel that lower spine compress, have some activation in your glutes. Return your chest back to the mat. And we're gonna slowly move to child's pose from this position. So lift up to maybe cobra. Move those hips back. Child's pose. Beautiful. Glide your chest forward, back down to the mat. And now you could choose to do cobra, or we could take a stagnant pose called Sphinx, where your hand was for cobra. It's going to become your elbow. You're going to rise up and pretend you're in Egypt. Glutes are activated. You are a strong landmark that has been upkept and running for thousands of years. I don't know where I was going with that, so sorry. Back in Sphinx. Feel your lower spine compress. Slowly move your chest back down to child's pose. Just stay for a moment. Last one. Move that chest forward. Your option, Cobra or Sphinx for 3 breaths. After whatever pose you choose, we are going to move back in child's pose. That is where we'll meet before we move on. From this child's pose, we are consciously and intently moving into our last downward facing dog. I invite you to walk, step, or hop your your feet between your hands for a forward fold. And from this forward fold, we're actually going to drop our hips and come into a yogi squat, Malasana pose. So my heels are off the ground because I have tighter ankles. However you make this pose comfortable for you, go ahead and do that. Move that weight to your heels, and then we're going to slowly bring our butt down. And we're going to meet in half Shavasana. Feet are on the ground, back is flat. Move your feet as close to your heels as possible. We're going to do everyone's favorite exercise, a glute bridge. We're going to inhale. When we inhale, our hips are going to move toward the sky. We're going to stay for a couple of breaths and move our hips back down. So when you're ready, inhale those hips up. Maybe our shoulder blades come underneath and our hands touch underneath our spine. That's not accessible for my body, so it's something I don't do often. Exhale, our back flat to the mat, half Shavasana. And be prepared, we're going to do it again. Inhale, those hips up. Try and create a straight line through your spine to your hips. Exhale, back down. This time, I want our left ankle to come over to our right knee, so it's like we're preparing for a figure 4 stretch. Place your hands at your sides next to your hips just to create some reinforcement. We are going to do a single leg glute bridge with our right foot and our ankle crossed over our knee. So when you're ready, we're going to take an inhale up. Exhale back down. And now we are going to go for that figure 4 stretch. Reach those hands between the triangle that you create between your thigh and your left knee. Grab onto the back hamstring, the shin, whatever you may need. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Place that right foot back on the mat. Bring your left knee out wide. Straighten it. And return back to half Shavasana. Readjust as we prepare to do the other side. And take a second. Notice how your left feels from your right and your right from your left. Notice if there was any pain in that pose. We never want any pain in yoga. So if something's not accessible, you could skip it, or we could always modify. That right ankle is going to come over to your left knee. Hands are at our sides. Make any micro adjustments that your body needs. Inhale those hips up. Single leg group bridge on the left foot, left leg. Exhale back down. And now we're going to go for that figure 4. Holding it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right knee is going to come out wide to meet the left. When you're ready to move on, we're going to hug our left knee to our chest with our right leg extended. Left arm is going to come out to our left side. We're going to look at our left hand and we're going to roll onto our right hip. T-spine rotation to the right. Holding it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Grab your left knee. And we're going to move it back to center, nice and slow, taking our time. Take that left knee out wide and have it meet the right foot. So we're laying flat on our back. When you're ready, grab that right knee. Set up for T-spine rotation as we roll onto our left hip. Left hand comes to right knee, right arm extends, and we roll onto that left hip. To make it a complete rotation, we're looking at our right arm, a complete twist in the spine. But if not, we could just peer over to our left. Don't need to force anything. Just feel comfortable. When you're ready, take your time. We're going to move back to center. Grab that right knee. Come back to center. Right knee comes out wide. and we meet the left. Inhale. Exhale, extend your hands so your biceps are right next to your ears. I want you to roll over onto your stomach without using your hands or feet. So we're going to meet on our chest. Readjust if you need to. Take your time. We're going to place our hands out in the shape of a T, just like we did before. We're going to bend our right knee 90 degrees. And now we are going to do scorpion pose. So from this position, our right hand comes to bend 90 degrees in the elbow. Roll over onto that left hip and let that right foot land wherever it lands. Feel this twist all over our body, really, in our spine, in that left hip. If we relax that right knee and let it drop, we feel some rotation in that right hip. If this is too much, maybe you want to extend that right foot so it's straight. Feel it more in your IT band, in your right IT band. And when you're ready, we're going to come back to center, rolling nice and slow as we move over to that right hip. Right hand extends. Left foot bends. And when you're ready, roll onto that right hip. Holding it for 5, 4, 3, 3.5, 2, and 1. Return back to your chest. And before we roll back onto our back, come up to Sphinx, and we're just going to shake out our hips. Just briefly, shake our hips back and forth before we return our chest to the mat. Hands extend, and this time, yogi's choice, roll whichever way you want to roll without using your hands. Back onto our back. Readjust if we need to. And for our last pose of class, we're going to take a modified happy baby, or happy baby if your body is ready for that. So hug those knees to your chest for modified happy baby, or we could grab the outer portions of our heels. Me, I'm just going to grab the back of my knees. Maybe we roll left and right, massaging the lower spine. If you're in happy baby, extend the left foot And then the right to open up those hips and hamstrings. Some more. And when you're ready, have both knees go out wide. Have your ankles touch at the bottom for Shavasana. Close the eyes, shut it down just for a few moments to recognize what we just pushed our body through. Find your breath, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out your mouth. In life, there are things that we can't possibly control. We can't control the weather. We can't control the actions of other people's. The only thing that we can control every time is how we observe, react, and move forward. Allows us the opportunity to create your own story from your own perspective. Take notice what arises during your practice. Were there any pain in your poses? Did you pass judgment on the way you moved or how you moved? Were there thoughts from the past, or were you thinking about the future? Were you thinking about the next business meeting after you got off the mat? It may seem that we can't control these thoughts, but in reality, we can. The first step is to notice them. The second step is to give yourself grace for having the thought. And noticing that thought. From there, you have two options. You could file your thought and save it for later. Maybe it's a creative thought, an idea for a video or a book, or a new business plan. But if it's a thought that doesn't serve you, go ahead and pop that bubble. Every comic that I've ever read has a thought bubble above each character. Think of yourself as that character in the comic. And if there's a bubble, if there's a thought that you don't need, that doesn't serve you, go ahead and pop it. There are things in life we can't possibly control. But what we can control every time is how we observe, react, and move forward. So I ask you, how are you going to move forward off your mat today? Take your time in Shavasana, breathing, and when you're ready, and if only, and only when you're ready, slowly wiggle those fingers, wiggle those toes, blink open the eyes, come back to your surrounding, your setting. A good practice of grounding is pick a color, any color, and notice that color around your room as you slowly move from your back to your side and rise up to a seated position. And just like the end of every yoga class, we're going to take one last deep breath together and simply just thank yourself, and your classmates for being here with you and going on this journey. So when you're ready, inhale those hands above your head. Inhale, and on that exhale, just simply say thank you. Shanti. Namaste. Thank you. Thanks for coming, dude.
Thank you, Phil, sir.
Phil, sir. Thank you. How was that?
That was nice.
Yeah?
I like the added stabilization effort, like, because plank is something I always try to not avoid, but it's like, oh, I get tired and let me just rest. But it kind of forced me to, like, I guess, like, work on my shoulder endurance. You know what I mean?
Are you talking about Bird Dog?
Like plank, downward dog, just like being there for a while, like going back and forth.
Yeah. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of that. That opens up the spine really nice.
Yeah, and then I don't normally hold bird dog for that long, but I'm like, all right, let's challenge myself because I know I can hold it, but
Yeah. Is there anything that well, I guess just give me some feedback. So if there's anything that you liked that you want to compliment, like feel free to do so. And then like also if there's anything that you didn't like, I'd love to hear and possibly, get better at. Like were there any transitions that you found confusing or that maybe didn't resonate with you?
no, I like the flow. Like I like the flow of everything, and I kind of realize, I guess you know more from me, like transition from one like big pose to another big pose. There's like smaller poses in between.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like plank, or I forgot what it was. It might have been this position, right? Into downward dog. Like just being aware of being able to go into, I guess, like, I don't know, I call it half cobra.
Yeah.
Or like you said, sphinx.
Mm-hmm.
And modified push up, right? And then back into child's pose or into downward dog. I kind of realized that, which was pretty cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So, that's one thing that I'm gonna write down because like a lot of times, even when I first started, there was like this idea of, okay, like down dog, right, so better example, tabletop to down, like tabletop to down dog, like there's steps to each, right? So there's something that I want to add is that the way you get there from tabletop to down dog is just as important as getting from tabletop to down dog. Like
Exactly.
being aware um, from each pose. But yeah, man,
Yeah, and then
that was awesome.
I like the thought provoking stuff at the end, laying down, because
Hmm.
like for me at the end of each yoga class, you know, like you just go through like a whole body, you know, I guess like awakening, and then you know you sit there eyes closed, or you lay there eyes closed, rest, and it's
Now what,
like
right?
I feel like that's when my thoughts are like just clear, calm, you know, and it's like everything you were saying about the comic book and the bubble and stuff. Like I was able to visualize that, and just like thoughts I didn't need just like pop and float away.
Okay, cool.
You know what
That's
I
the
mean?
that's the first time I ever did the comic book reference, but I'm going
I like
to
that. I like
for
that.
sure keep it.
And then
Um,
like what you said about like, you know, you control how you um like, you know, how you think, react, and like you control the controllables.
yeah,
Like it's, you know, and then mentioning like think about how you're gonna walk off the mat and go about the rest of your day.
cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Um,
kind of connecting the end of the session to like, hey, don't just go back and do like whatever you were doing and like be stressed about it. Like really take your practice into like your next activity.
yeah, your next thing.
Yeah.